You know what the WWE invasion angle needed? The occasional run-in and interference spots. I mean, they only had about 500,000 per episode of Raw, SmackDown, and also on the pay-per-views, so why not increase that number? I swear, they were trying to outdo themselves every single fucking week. It was a fucking mess, but it was a fun mess, but also a fun fucking mess. I'm John Renton with the Retro Review of WWE Raw from August 13, 2001. Speeding towards SummerSlam 2001 and onwards to Survivor Series 2001 in a couple months, and also the Raw right after Survivor Series 2001. And my God, the fucking invasion angle is just so fucking hilarious. There were some good moments on this episode. I mean, and that's the thing. The frustrating thing about the invasion angle is there were decent moments. Like, there were entertaining moments, but also just the constant interference and bullshit and all the stuff where the referees just were made completely nutless. They were made completely meaningless because, like, oh, we have to look this way, we have to look the other way, or we have to do all these run-ins. I mean, the referees, I hope, got some goddamn hazard pay because they were getting blasted a lot. They were getting beat up a lot. It was something else. So, this is the go-home Raw for SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer. Hooray! Big party! They're in Chicago, Illinois, well before CM Punk chants would dominate any WWE show in Chicago and any wrestling show in Chicago, and you know, up until recently and into the future and everything. And I'm pretty certain that the world will absolutely be burning as the world's been turning. And even though we didn't start the fire, we will still have CM Punk chants at some wrestling show, maybe on Outpost on the goddamn moon. They would do that. So anyway, they cut to WWF New York. I'm going to go back and forth between WWF and WWE. By the way, want to once again plug this sweet t-shirt that my sister painted for me. Not the shirt, but the logo. A treasured possession since she knows I love wrestling. I've loved it since 1985. My God, when man was still alive, and man is still alive now. So, the Alliance shows up to let the bodies hit the floor. And here's Austin with a clipboard. The crowd chants asshole for a bit and boos him. I lead by example. He shows clips of beating up Kurt Angle, ignoring the last clip where Angle was on the stretcher, but rolled off of that and got the ankle lock once again on Stone Cold Steve Austin. I softened him up. Who wants a piece of him? And Heyman's all yelling. Other people were like, yeah, I want him and everything. And they're raising their hands. Oh, me. Miss Clifton. Anyway. But Heyman's like standing up on the announcer's table. RVD. And the crowd's channel on because RVD was pretty much the most over guy in the Alliance. I mean, they tried to make them heels. They would not boo RVD. They would not boo him at all, even when he tried to be a bad guy. He was just too cool. I mean, and however, you know, whatever side of the fence you're on when it comes to RVD, I mean, he just had that natural charisma that people gravitated towards him. They were just like, yeah, we're going to cheer for RVD. So, the match is on. It's RVD versus Kurt Angle later. And then DDP and Canyon stand up. They recently won the WWE Tag Team Championships. And Test, who took out the APA, and Rhino, who gored Chris Jericho through the screen on SmackDown recently. And then, you know, SmackDown will have the first Stone Cold Invitational. He's going to teach people some things, teach people some lessons. And calls Taz, Raven, and Hugh Morris to the ring, and then mentions how Dreamer is wearing a Stone Cold shirt, but he hasn't had a goddamn match since this whole Alliance thing started. And to be fair, at least on television, he's not wrong. So, then he says, your name is Hugh Morris. What? Hugh Morris. What? Is that funny? Is that humorous? Are you here to make me laugh? What? Yes, the what chant was born on this night. And unfortunately, wrestling shows have been dominated by it ever since, even indie shows. Now, sometimes it actually fits if you're trying to get at a heel. Other times, it's just completely disrespectful. Even Austin, I'm sure Austin would probably regret that he did this. It was entertaining at the time, but man, it just took on a life of its own. It was a lethal dose of poison into WWE and wrestling in general. Wait, that's Vince McMahon bringing in the NWO, which actually, a number of months later, which was one of his best promos. Anyway, he then says, hey, Raven, you lost to Saturn. And then Mox's quotes, what about me? What about Raven? And then he humiliates Taz for not stopping Rock from slamming Shane McMahon through the announcer's table on SmackDown. He's just standing there. And then he said, and more what stuff and everything, and he takes off his belt. He's going to lead by example by whipping a minority, a Southern Caucasian man whipping a minority, 12 years of Stone Cold. And Taz doesn't want to do that. As nobody would, regardless of your skin tone or regardless of whatever. You wouldn't want to be whipped by somebody, on camera or off camera. Maybe off camera. I'm not here to kink shame. Or on camera. Again, not here to kink shame. But not on a wrestling show. And the crowd pops when Taz stops it from happening. And then Taz gets mauled, laid out. He gets gored and then gets whipped. This took 21 minutes. This entire segment took 21 minutes. After the intro and after with the Alliance coming out, actually it was more like 19 minutes, but still. The first 21 minutes of, 2 hours of television, because they include a lot of stuff, ads and everything, like, some of the sponsors and whatever, because I assume that the sponsorship still added up, or they wanted to include it from the original broadcast. Who the fuck knows? The cock is really weird. I speak from experience, and existence, because you can't exist without a big cock. So I've been told. Anyway, it's actually more like size doesn't matter cock. Anyway, Shep, this is really weird. I might as well throw jokes in. Jeopardy with Kane. He does the Kane thing. And then he can't eat the stuff because, his mask doesn't have a hole. He's not a mask hole, if you will. Ironic that Kane is wearing a mask here. He won't do something about masks in Knox County. Anyway, so Edge and Christian, they knocked Justin Credible's name. Easy for me to say. And Christian couldn't be out there to help Edge last time on SmackDown because he was polishing Edge's trophy. Or he was laid out. Or maybe the trophy took on a life of its own and started a killing spree and everything. Maybe it was like Shelby Lynn's The Killing Kind. Why that song popped into my head, I have no idea, but I think Bridget Jones's Diary came out in 2001, so I'm going to roll with that. Tajiri with Regal took on Albert with X-Pac. X-Pac sucks chance, and it was the usual, David versus Goliath. Later, we get the Red Mist, and then we get a kick 1, 2, 3. Albert getting pinned by Tajiri. Then he would go over to New Japan a couple years later, and would do well, and then would become Lord Tensai when he came back to WWE, and oh god, make it stop. So then Cole interviews Angle. They should have kept Michael Cole as a backstage interviewer, because then he wouldn't have been such a terrible commentator and still poisoning the brand that he is on right now. I mean, he's poisoned any brand he's been on, but especially recently. So he will accept RVD's challenge. Then Hugh Morris blindsides him and tries to attack him, and then gets gets the ankle lock slapped on him. So yay! To be fair, it's Hugh Morris, so who could really take him seriously, except for being a bully to a whole bunch of trainees. So the Impact players, well, Lance Storm and Justin Credible, they were without the other cronies that they had with them versus Edge and Christian. It wasn't bad. I mean, at least it was kind of nice to see. I would like to have seen this match in front of an ECW crowd because I'm pretty certain that Edge and Christian would have won them over with their work, but not with their antics. And miscommunication between Edge and Christian, oh no, what's going to happen? But then a miscommunication between the Impact players and the Impaler 1, 2, 3. And then Christian chases off Lance, he was laid out, outside, and Lance slaps on the single leg Boston Crab. Oh no, is Edge's knee going to be alright for SummerSlam? We will find out. Edge wins at SummerSlam, by the way, in case you didn't know. So Austin and Deborah are talking, and RVD shows up. He's not worried about Angle because he's RVD. Stasiak shows up and says he wants to make a difference. And then Austin says, okay, go out and do that. Wait, what's your name? Sean Stasiak. Right, I got my eye on you. Man, they made Stasiak a running joke here. And then we get for a live SmackDown on UPN. The beautiful people, the beautiful people, the singer who loves to assault and degrade women. Good job there, you idiot. Anyway, Kanyon is inspiring Palumbo and O'Hare, while DDP says that Taker and Kane will fall because they have a steel cage match against the Brothers of Destruction. Both teams do. Kanyon and DDP at SummerSlam and Palumbo and O'Hare tonight. Oh dear. So Kurt is talking to Regal. Stasiak tries to run in and hits a suit of armor that just happens to be there. And Scoop and the gang must figure out which person was in the suit of armor causing all this destruction. That would have actually been more interesting than anything that they were doing backstage. So then Taker and Kane took on Palumbo and O'Hare, steel cage match, a fucking mauling, an absolute mauling. They got in a little bit of offense, Palumbo and O'Hare did. DDP and Kanyon watched from the stage. Palumbo was bleeding badly, really badly, and then Sarah gets chased. She gets up onto the cage easily in heel boots, because either DDP and Kanyon forgot how gravity works, or they were like, oh shit, we better let her get up there, and we really don't care about the storyline, because it was shit. And pretty soon we're going to have DDP getting squashed by Sarah. And I'm thinking that match, I don't think it happens on the SmackDown here, the SmackDown before SummerSlam, but it happens soon after, which will pretty much just destroy anything that happened with DDP, which is a real shame because DDP could have contributed a lot to WWE, even, with the age and mileage and everything. He really did have something. A lot that he could have offered, and they just fucking squashed him. So then we get, by the way, double pin, 1, 2, 3. Palumbo and O'Hare, thanks for coming. You guys are dead. It's just dead in the eyes of fans. Stephanie and Rhino, to hype up Rhino versus Jericho SummerSlam. Here's Jericho to say that he will finally beat Rhino, and that I'm going to get that smelly, disgusting, greasy animal, and I'm going to get you too. Rhino. Because why the fuck wouldn't he say that? He was just brutal here. There are some words I am not going to repeat here. But then Jericho says, Well, Stephanie's, had some work done or whatever. Does the side-by-side thing last year, and then this year she got bigger titties. She got the bigger boobies and whatever. Women get plastic surgery all the time. Some get to the point where they want to look good. Others get to the point where they look like balloon animals. You want to look like a balloon animal? Not kink shaming. I just think it's uncomfortable. But whatever. It is what it is. She sure has grown out the last year, at least in two specific places. It's like, you say let the bodies hit the floor. I'd say rather let the boobies hit the floor. You must have some kind of imagination. It's like, you're right. Maybe you should let me take you out to dinner. We can discuss this. I hear there's a Hooters right up the road from this place, which is fucking hilarious. So anyway, then Booker's here and basically says, this woman is all natural. Okay, Booker, that's hilarious. And we get bullshit chants. Jericho should join the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, and Jericho says, you should join the A-Team remake. Booker or Mr. T. Oh, God. Here's Rock as Chicago pops for Dwayne's Rock Hard Johnson. So, he says, you say you're going to take the Rock to school or whatever. I imagine you being the oldest 27-year-old in high school. The short yellow bus pulls up. Meep, 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 meep. This is stuff Rock said, by the way, just want to say. And it says, walk into class and, okay, class, what is 2 plus 2? Do you know Booker? Oh, yeah, 2 plus 2, Thomas Jefferson Sucker. At least nobody called him a butler. At least there's that. Anyway, he then... and him and Jericho just going back and forth, like hurling insults at the ring while the crowd's just eating all this up. Says Booker T, hair by Whoopi, Shane McMahon, still a pussy. And then Jericho says the woman, the man beast, and the hose beast. That's what he said. And it says the gore and the... Well, it rhymes with gore. That much I'll say. And it's like, we've got a tag match later. 70, you're the best. Best. Why the fuck not? Austin and Deborah are talking, and then Shane Helms shows up, and he's inspired by Austin's speech. He's got a Green Lantern tattoo. And they talk about the superhero stuff, but he's Hurricane Helms, not Shane Helms. And he says, can you go out there and cause destruction like a hurricane? So, yeah, he's going to go out and he's going to cause some destruction later. And Test and Spike Dudley had a match where there's a Molly and a big boot, and I think Spike is dead. Spike got destroyed. Absolutely laid out. He hits a bomb on Spike. The APA come out when Spike is laid out, and Molly's about to be beaten up by Test. And we're going to have a 6-man later at SummerSlam because the Dudleys show up. And then we get Matt and Lita talking to Kurt, who says that he will kill Austin. That is murder. That is fucking murder. Seriously, we've been over this. You shouldn't threaten to murder people. You shouldn't murder people anyway, but you shouldn't threaten to murder people on camera. And then here's Hurricane, who basically is upset about the, the superhero talk, and he knocks milk out of his hand. You never touch another man's man milk. That was hard to say. And then he throws him on the table and hits him with a sheet. Oh, sheet. So anyway, RVD versus Angle, hardcore title, fast-paced. This could have been a good pay-per-view match. We get a chair in the corner, and then Kurt is staring in the spotlight. And then we get run-ins. Dreamer, Raven, then Jeff Hardy hits a swanton on RVD and gets the hardcore championship. And we take that match to SummerSlam, where RVD wins the hardcore title back. Because why the fuck not? I mean, 24/7 rule is what it is. Stasiak is then waiting behind the bathroom door for it to open so he can talk to Austin. Austin opens up like comical stuff, like, it's a Looney Tunes episode. Stasiak's out. So anyway, Rhino and Booker took on, with Shane 70 took on Rock and Jericho. Big fight, feel well paced. Later we get a ref bump. This is Ref Bump the Musical, this match, by the way. Nick Patrick comes in, and he gets pulled out by Dwayne. Because The Rock just pulling Nick Patrick out, pulling another man out on camera. And then the wall's on Rhino, he's tapping, but there's no ref. And then, the ref gets blasted. I think it was Mike Chioda. But Shane just blasts him. I mean fucking blast. He's running full bore. He hits him with a clothesline. I mean, he did it safely with just the way they did. Like, my God, that was something. And then 70 gets involved. We get a low blow and a roll up. And Charles Robinson, the 4th referee for this TV main event. 1, 2, 3. Most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling. Surprise roll up. Rock and Shane are battling because Shane's like, I'm going to hit Rock. And then like, I have made a terrible mistake. And then rock bottom to Charles Robinson, to Rhino. Tries rock bottom Shane again. Bookend the Rock, where Rock almost lands on his goddamn head. I mean, he over-rotated. I mean, he didn't. It's like, it's not Booker's fault, but just, boy, that was something. And then another chair. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Rock's going to beat Booker for the WCW Championship. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.